You're listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast, celebrating hunting dog heritage, competition, and community. United Kennel Club has been the hunting dog sports home for coonhounds, beagles, retrievers, pointers, cur, feist, and more for over 125 years. Well, hey folks, welcome to another episode of the Hunting Ops Podcast. I'm Alan Gingrich. I'm here alone today. So I just recently got back from the Squirrel Dog of the Year National Runoff, and we also had Derby Day in Hardin, Kentucky at the Twin Lakes Coon Club down at the LBL. Most of the squirrel hunters, guys that have squirrel hunted, know exactly where LBL is, Land Between the Lakes, kind of a mecca for squirrel hunting. But on today's episode, I'm going to cover some of, to kind of do a recap, if you will, of that event. So first off, what is the National Runoff? Well, every year UKC has a Dog of the Year for both Curr squirrel dogs as well as the Feist squirrel dogs, and they're kept separate. And then we also have one for a night hunt in the night hunt category. So 3 different divisions. But what we do, everything is based on the total number of cast wins from the previous year. So we take the top 7 dogs with the most cast wins in 2023 that are eligible for the National Runoff. It's kind of unique in that the top dog, the dog with the most cast wins for the year, receives a bye in the first round of the runoff. So in squirrel hunts, dogs are drawn out into 3 dog casts. And so we take the bottom 6 dogs in round 1, and they're drawn out in 2 casts. Those 2 cast winners then go up against the high dog, the bye dog, I guess, if you will, and in a final cast for all of the marbles for the Dog of the Year. So that's how the Dog of the Year is determined. It's kind of a unique, a little bit different way, but so let's just get started here with the night hunt division. That one is that one's probably not as strong, but it took we had 7 dogs in it. The top dog there had 8 cast wins, and that was Franklin's Rip. That's a squirrel champion owned by Alan Franklin of Ohio. Unfortunately, this dog could not make the runoff. She came in heat. And Alan also had the second place dog, Razor's Dark Alley. So he didn't get to make the trip at all. Kemp's LC Poppy finished 3rd, and Kemp's LC Thunder Phoenix finished 4th in the night hunt division last year. And then we also had, actually William Kemp owns both of those dogs, also from Ohio. And then there's a dog out of Oklahoma, Fusky's Treeing Rex, that's owned by Lane Williams. Cahaba River Beagle is a dog owned by Clifton Robinson in Alabama. And then last but not least was another dog that could not come, was also in heat, Snickers Bite Size, owned by Kelly and Teresa Vian of Ohio. So those were the 7 dogs eligible for that. And a couple, like I mentioned, about 3 dogs, 3 of them in heat. A couple others couldn't come for whatever reason. And as it there were no dogs entered for the runoff in the night hunt division. So therefore, we do not have a Dog of the Year there. But nevertheless, let's move on to the next Saturday morning. That hunt was supposed to happen on Friday night, but then on Saturday morning is when the Curs and the Feist go at it for the squirrel dog portion of it. Starting with the Cur part of it, the top dog was Gamble's Burley. That is a mountain cur that is owned by the legend Leroy Gamble of Dexter, Kentucky. He had 32 cast wins last year on Burley. That's something he set out to do. Leroy is kind of a legend, most specifically in the coon hunting world. He used to hunt English dogs and did a lot of winning through his time. He's probably now in his 70s, but nevertheless, he's still in the game. He just switched games, so to speak. He's pretty active in these squirrel hunts. And this Burley dog, he is the real deal, I'm telling you. But he's a good-looking sucker, and 32 cast wins last year is just crazy. But he set out to hoping to take up that number 1 spot and go for this. Not just that, but also in doing so this last year, he finished Burley to the first ever UKC Hall of Fame for cur dogs. So that's congratulations to him. So he was a top dog. He got the bye, but With 32 cast wins, 20 cast wins last year was a dog named Flint River Slammer, owned by Donnie Goodman of North Carolina. Matt Beamer from Virginia had 9 cast wins with Goodman's 2020 Jacks. 7 cast wins was Robbie Anderson's Ghost Feist Dog. Robbie is out of Millers Creek, North Carolina. Sugar Branch Kirby is a dog out of West Virginia owned by Jordan Messer. He had 6 cast wins to get in the runoff. Jordan was going to be there, and turns out he had his son had some complications, health complications or something. He could not make it, so hated to hear that for him. A 2020 Amazing Grace is a female owned by Scott Blevins of Newcastle, Indiana. Also had 6 wins, could not be there. And then the other dog that was there, Riley's Master Dewey, also from Chillicothe, Ohio, owned by James Riley, also had 6 cast wins. So as it turned out, 2 dogs in the finals here, Burley and Master Dewey went at it in the final cast on Saturday morning. And here again, Burley, I wasn't out on the cast, but they said he put on a show. Scored 700 plus in that morning cast and came out the victor. So he is our dog of the year, Grand Squirrel champion, Grand Champion Gamble's Burley HTX. And Leroy, he was excited about it. I was also there with our Curr representative, Jamie Estep from West Virginia. This is kind of his first year at it. He was there. So Jamie and I both sat down with Leroy after he came back in and talked to him about this win. And not just that, but also talked to him a little bit about coon hunting. So this is a good one.
Champion. And she was from the old Mike dog. And like I said before, we didn't even have a tracking system. And she got stole hunting behind my aunt's house.
Yeah.
And I remember that, I meant $50 you sold her to me.
I believe you told me at one time you had a horse show or something going on there.
It was a horse show.
I
was hunting behind my aunt's house in a holler, and there was a horse show. And I still believe today I think she got up there at that horse show, and somebody took her home.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay.
And so.
Well, what we're hearing here is Jamie Estep and Leroy Gamble having this conversation about coon hunting back in the old days. And Leroy, let's talk a little bit more about your coon hunting days. When you've coon hunted all your life, have you not?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I didn't back as a kid. I didn't have anybody in my immediate family, my dad or any of my brothers. They never did coon hunt, so I kind of growed up not knowing nothing about coon hunting. And then I got deer hunting with one of my old buddies, and he coon hunted, and I had probably hunted with him for a month, and we was going home one evening from deer hunting, bow hunting, LBL, and he just made the remark that he was going to go coon hunting tonight, said, "You want to go?" So, yeah, well, sure, I'll try, So that's when I got started in the coon hunting, but the old Sputnik dog. I went back to the Beach River Sputnik bloodline and tapped some of the Tyneses, Jeff Tynes, and out of his family, they hunted tap bred dogs. The dog that Bill was out of was the old Beach River Sputnik, and the old Bill, Tynes' Bill, which went back to the bloodline that you were talking about earlier, Yeah. We started hunting PKC hunts back in the day. The Mike dog, I started hunting him. I hunted him when he was younger, but I started hunting him by himself when he was 9 months old. Pretty hard for a couple of months, and I decided to put him in the hunts when he was 11 months old, and had some luck with him. The first year I hunted him in PKC hunts, and the second year I hunted him, he was top money winner in the nation. The first two seasons I hunted him. Man, I never could win the world hunt with him, but he was in the Final Four 2 years in a row. Reserve world champion and all that, but I never could pull off that number one. So that's
Yeah, there's that world hunt is an elusive one has been for a lot of folks for a lot of that's why they are what they are, you know. But
well, in '91, I did win the national championship with him, the Hillbilly Mike dog. But that was quite a win, I thought, for me.
You know, you mentioned the PKC, and I know you hunted predominantly PKC, but you know, in today's world, you're seeing guys and dogs winning $100,000, couple $100,000.
Right.
Back in your day, didn't you have like $50,000 accumulated one time on the little $10 hunts or something like that?
Yeah. I had
Compare that to today.
about 57,000 at one time, you know, but yeah, I think the first.
That is in this that they didn't have the big entry payouts like they do today.
Right.
Pretty impressive, really.
How many dogs would a $10 hunt draw then?
Well, back when I first started, they didn't have those hunts, the $10 hunt, you know. Then they started having them on the, you know, you could start having hunts through the week, you know. But when I first started, it was only a weekend deal, you know, and the $10 hunt, you know, and stuff. Yeah, I never did hunt him in none of them, but
yeah, well, you had quite the resume back there and a known name, but. Hey, we could probably sit here all day, Leroy. Where are you from here in Kentucky, right? We're here in Hardin, Kentucky, Twin Lakes Coon Club. You're a member of it.
right.
Have you lived here in the area your whole life or what?
Pretty much. Other than working, I went to worked out of Ohio for about 6 or 8 years back in the day. But other than that, yeah, I've lived right here in the neighborhood. Matter of fact, from the Coon Club here now, I live about 5 minutes from here, so I'm right up the road.
And you've lived here most of your life
right.
in the area. Yeah.
Right.
Good place to coon hunt too, huh?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
You don't have the coon maybe like they do in some other places of the
right.
country, but
right.
it not enough or there's plenty enough to make a coon hunter, right?
We got LBL, you know, that's awful nice to have that. It's 170,000 acres over in between the Kentucky Lake and Barkley Lake, so we're proud to have that to hunt, you know.
Yeah. Well, Leroy Gamble from here in Kentucky, I've always known your name to be one of the old legends in the coon hunting world, but these days you've downsized a bit, so to speak, and we're sitting here with you at the National Runoff. You just got back from the finals this morning, and you were the top dog in the running last year. You had the most cast wins, and you came back here in the National Runoff in the finals, and you win the whole dang thing here. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been good. I've hunted pretty hard to try to stay on the top of this runoff thing. I am getting a little age on me, and I thought, well, if I can be the number one dog, I'll only have to hunt one round. So that was the big purpose of trying to stay in number one. I got that done. But
well, I'll let Jamie take over. You guys kind of started this. That was you two guys talking here when we started this, and I kind of butted in here a little bit. But that was Jamie Estep, and Jamie's here, and he has, I'm sure, some questions for you about your dog Burley. These days, this is not an English dog, but it's a little cur dog. Now, you're still in the tree dog business, but you're going after them squirrels nowadays, I guess, huh? And doing well.
Right. Yeah. The coon hunting, the night part, I can't get around well enough to follow an old coon dog anymore, so I've switched to the squirrel part of it, but I still like the tree dogs.
Well, I tell you, I'll fill in some folks on how we got here. Is the National Runoff is the dogs throughout the year that accumulate the most cast wins to come, and we take the top 7 dogs. And as you said just a moment ago, you stayed in the top to get the first round bye as you did. Now, I'm going to let everybody know, for you to stay in the top of that, you had 32 cast wins, and that is pretty amazing, because what that done is also kept you in the first place spot, but it also set you up to have the first dog, if I'm correct in this, the first mountain cur to be inducted into the Squirrel Dog Hall of Fame. And Alan, just help us out. How many cast wins? I think I can answer that, but I want to make sure on that. And I think it's around 50, right?
It is exactly 50 using our current format, and it would amount to 37 grand champion wins is what it would amount to. Pretty impressive.
And so that's pretty awesome that you not only set that dog up to get the first round bye, but you also accomplished a pretty awesome feat of being the first dog, the first mountain cur inducted into the Squirrel Dog Hall of Fame. And I think you just found that out, or just kind of was acknowledged that. Is that kind of just recent?
Yeah, I've been trying to find that out for sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure 100%. But what I was really trying to do, the little dog was he was 3-year-old when he accomplished that, and I was trying to make sure that I could get it done while he was 3-year-old.
Yeah.
I just wanted it done as a 3-year-old
Yeah.
for some reason.
Did you make it?
So we got that done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of made me laugh. You said you couldn't get around as good. Now I'm gonna tell you, winning 32 cats, that's still moving pretty good. Okay, so you and the dog are doing y'all have made a pretty good team. So here we are. Let's talk about today. You're in the final cast. It was you and another dog by the name of, and let's give him some credit as well, Dewey from up in Ohio. Y'all were the final 2 dogs going into the final cast, and looks like you put a pretty good show on. You and Burley is our champion dog here that won at Gamble's Burley. Looks like you might have had a little mishap right out of the truck there a little bit. I heard you talking in there, but it seems like after that you and Burley got on the same page. What happened right out of the truck?
Well, it was a cold tree. He was down there, and he was just beating around on it, and I've done made up my mind. He's not going to tree here, that's not what he does. And but he kept pecking around on it, and I thought about treeing him, and then I thought, no, Leroy, he ain't got no squirrel tree, so don't tree him. And he shut up and left, and I thought, well, okay, he's gone. But he went back to the same tree. And, then by him going back the second time, I thought, well, I guess he's going to tree. So I treated him, and about the time I treated him, he shut up and left. So I pulled 100 minus there, but
probably not the first time in your.
Not the first time. Yeah.
And then it looks like after that, he went to work and doesn't look like he was on a tree with another dog, treed 8 squirrels after that. And so anything jump out during the hunt during those 8 squirrels, or did he just operate like he normally operates?
Particularly on one tree for sure, the squirrel timbered, and I told the judge, and the guide was there too, and I said, he's timbering that squirrel, but we was close enough to see it, and matter of fact, there were 2 squirrels, both the timbering, but other than that, he made the rest of them all good, solid trees, had a good hunt.
Yeah, 90 minutes, 8 scored on 8 squirrels there. That's pretty good hunt, I'd say.
Yeah. When we went to a new place, I hadn't been in there. Me or the dog, neither one had been in that place where we hunted, and that's kind of the way I wanted it. I wanted to be on, I had some places here. Matter of fact, I've got squirrel feeders, and I've got deer feeders, and I've got squirrels and we could have went and what people say is some of my honey holes, but we went in a complete different section of the country here. I had another boy that guides me. He squirrel hunts too, and he had some good hunting, and he had some hunting over there that he don't hunt either. Matter of fact, the people won't let him hunt in there either, but he talked him into letting us hunt on this particular hunt.
Yeah.
He explained to him that it was just a dog thing. We wasn't going to be killing squirrels and that, so they said, "Yeah, go ahead." So.
And you guys living here your whole life, I mean, do you still have a lot of hunting available, or are you losing hunting spots?
We're losing some. I've still got a lot of hunting. I've got people that lets me hunt out around the property where I live and I own. But I've got 700 or 800 acres out there that I can hunt, unless deer season's in. They're deer hunters, so I leave them alone during deer season. And they tell me when they get done deer hunting, they said, have at it, kill them all. They don't like the squirrels anyway, So, I've got a lot of places to hunt. And we've got a lot of public land too, TVA land around the lake, So much of it is government land that we can hunt.
So tell us about Burley. how's he bred, or do we know anything about that you can fill us in on Burley for just a little bit?
I've got his daddy. I've hunted him. I hunted him in some NSD hunts, squirrel hunts, and I finished him as reserve world champion back 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I guess. The hunt that they have over at Barkley Lodge, but they go back to a lot of the Smith Streak Jr. and all that bunch, and there's several big name dogs in his background, in his pedigree, but.
So you raised him.
I'm not a big breeder myself, so I don't keep up with that as much as some people. But
so you raised him.
I raised him.
You
yeah,
raised him.
yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
What will be your next plans with him?
I don't know.
Go hunting.
I had some guys that's interested in buying him and putting him in the hunts, but I don't know. I've about decided not to price him, so. He's got where the money deal. The money ain't the big thing about these dogs anymore. Right. But and like we was talking, I'm gonna be if I make it to October again, I'm gonna be 80 years old. So I ain't got time to train very many more dogs. So
now we're gonna see you in a couple weeks in Tell City.
Probably, yeah, yeah. I don't know if I can hold out for that hunt, but. Yeah, I'm probably going to show up.
I got a feeling you'll be all right. 32 cat. I think I would say everybody listening to this better be on notice that you and Burley are coming. So I'd say you'll be all right. I just have that feeling.
No. Yeah, he's a very good-looking dog, kind of a black and tan looking dog, but you can tell he's muscled up. You've been hunting him a lot, and you can certainly tell that.
Yeah, he's in pretty good shape as far as hunting.
Yeah, well, hey, we talked about that a little bit. Let's back up a little bit. In your 32 cast wins last year to qualify for this runoff, you probably didn't get all of them right here local. You had to do a little traveling for that, didn't you?
Yeah, I got out of town here some. I went to Ohio and Illinois, different places in Kentucky,
Yeah. So, hey, congratulations on that. And Jamie mentioned he's the first mountain cur to be a UKC Hall of Fame, but actually he's the first cur, period, of any breed to attain that title. So
yeah, that's what I was hearing,
Yeah, so, but let me ask you, going sideways a little bit. So you've been coon hunting and hunting for a long, long time. You ever think about it back, how it used to be back in the days? And what do you see as some of the biggest changes, whether it's hunting or dogs, or either one, from those old days to now? You ever think about that or have thoughts on that?
Yeah. As far as the hunting, especially the coon hunting, before I got out of it, even we used to go to a place down there, Giverfield Swamp. You might get after an old coon down there and run him for 3 hours, And now, my opinion on these dogs now, that coon that they was running back then, the dogs won't ever open their mouth on that coon now until it gets up to a certain point. Most of the dogs now, when they open on the track, it's a track that they can run, not trail. But other than that, and the coon hunting has got worse about finding a place to hunt than the squirrels, I think. Well, nowadays you see, if you see somebody with a light back up in the woods behind your house, you don't know what they're doing, And back in the day, the neighbors around where I hunted, they knew it's probably Leroy coon hunting, wasn't no big deal. But now,
and not even you didn't really need permission. It was just Leroy hunting back there in our woods. No big deal, right?
No big deal, right?
That's really changed today.
Yeah, but now there's lots of people, lots of houses here that wasn't here back then, Population of people has grown. And,
Well, Jamie, I don't know if you have anything more to add here.
No, it's just cool to be able to, like we said, talk to Leroy from his past to success there to now still see him now having success on the Curr side of things. And there's probably a common characteristic there of your dedication and your ability to train a dog. And just knowing, the 32 cast wins and
Yeah.
knowing the effort that it takes to put that in as a props. And I just say thank you from the standpoint of what you do and what you have done, from a boy from West Virginia that you had no clue that sold him a $50 pup. And so that's that tells me that money wasn't all about money years ago, just to you, just like it's not all about money today. And so I appreciate that standpoint.
Yeah, well, we appreciate y'all. And like I said, the Cur deal, I'm proud y'all are doing what you're doing and trying to do what you can to maybe boost it up a little bit. And I wish, if there was anything I could do, I'd be proud to help. But I don't know. I've got some Cur people here that's got good dogs, but they don't care nothing about the competition. They've hunting some pretty nice dogs, but they're not competition hunters.
Yeah, well, and that's all right too. But again, Leroy's, it's good to see you. And I started coming here a couple of years ago and kind of got to know you a little bit. As a little kid, I already read about Leroy Gamble and things like that. So it's been good to know you, and it's good to see you still doing what you enjoy doing, working and playing around with dogs, and not just that, having some success with it, but hey, you know what it takes to get a dog to where they need to be to win in whatever the competition is, and you've proved it again here this last year, and then this weekend with Burley here. Yeah. Outstanding.
Well, I sure
Dog of the year.
Yep. Proud of that.
Congratulations.
Thank y'all.
So there you go. That was a good listen. It was good just to sit down and hear and listen to Leroy talk about some of his coon hounds and now his squirrel dog. And this dog is we actually turned him loose behind the clubhouse a little bit later just to get some pictures of the dog. And man, he made short order of a couple trees there and did a bang up job. So congratulations to him. And not that you can see the win photo of Leroy. A lot of his family showed up. Some of his grandkids. There's quite a few of his families in the win picture there, but he's sitting there on the box with one of his grandkids on his lap, and that picture to me speaks 1,000 words. It's just priceless. So go check that out. But congratulations again to Mr. Leroy, an older gentleman, and he's 70 years old and still out there and doing it, and he's not giving up on these dogs, and probably keep him young. So there's that. But all right, let's move on to the Feist part of it. So they also ran on Saturday morning. Now they hunt separately from the Currs. So the 7 dogs in first place last year, the top dog had 28 cast wins last year, and that's a dog out of New York. That's a Grand Squirrel Hall of Fame World Show champion, Plant's Rippin' Robber. He is a 2018 model treeing Feist owned by Vance and Anna Plant of Lake Luzerne. They also had the second place dog, Cedarwood Silly Sally, also owned by Vance and Anna. She had 19 cast wins last year. With 18 cast wins in third was Plant Cedarwood Sophie. This dog is also out of New York, but this dog is owned by Dennis Wood. Now, Dennis couldn't make the runoff this year. But Vance, actually, with his robber dog getting a bye, he handled the dog for Dennis. So Sophie was able to be hunted in the runoff as well. Remy's Little Robin, she's a World Show champion, a Grand Squirrel champion owned by Mr. Donald Barnes, one of the older gentlemen in the sport. He's from Springville, Tennessee. That dog had 16 cast wins to make the runoff. Garner's Treeing Sandy, she's a dual grand out of North Carolina owned by Joseph Gardner. She had 15 cast wins. She was the only one of the top 7 who could not make it, also in season. I guess one of those things with females, unfortunately, but too bad Joseph couldn't be there with her because she's a good one. And then in 6th place last year with 14 cast wins was the first Grand Squirrel Champion Hall of Fame dog, Cedarwood Bow, that's owned by Chad Wagner of Kentucky. And then rounding out the top 7 was Chipman Ridge Roxanne. That's a mountain feist that's owned by Aiden Mitchell. He's, I think, only 14 years old out of Williamstown, Kentucky. But he got in with Roxanne and 13 cast wins. So it took 13 cast wins last year for a feist to get in this national runoff. So with that, as it turned out, the The cast winners in the first 2 rounds was in the first round was Silly Sally, and that was Anna Plant handling that dog. And then the other dog was Chad Wagner with Cedarwood Bow. Those were the first round cast winners, and then they made the finals to go up against the number 1 dog, Rippin' Robber. But before we get into that, I also had the opportunity. We have a couple ladies in the sport that were both there. One, they're from 2 different parts of the world. They almost couldn't be further apart. One is Joni Moore from Texas, and the other is Anna Plant that I just mentioned from New York. But both of these ladies have become friends, and in between rounds, after the first round Saturday morning, I got a chance to sit down with both of them, and we talked to them, asked them some questions about what their perspective is on the sport, and specifically as women handling dogs, and what they like about squirrel hunting, etc. So let's take a listen right now to that interview.
Wanted to make before the end of the season here. Ours ended the 25th at home, so I wanted to get down here and get a few more days in.
That was great. Wasn't that great, that hunt that we had down at the cemetery?
Yeah.
Those squirrels were crazy running through the woods.
They've been crazy. It seems like even today.
Yes. Even at home, they have been crazy this time of the year.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
man, you're a good shooter. You got one out, and then we timbered that, and it went a ways, and you got it out, and then we turned them loose again, and they got another one, and you popped that one out. That was pretty awesome shooting.
I think practice, I guess.
Annie Oakley, huh?
Oh, I don't know. I think the glasses helped.
She did say the glasses. And I'm like, maybe I need some of those.
Yeah, well, you do wear glasses already.
Yeah, but I think I need stronger ones for
Stronger
shooting.
ones.
Yeah, I need shooting glasses.
Yeah. Man, it's kind of a nice day today. It's kind of a little chilly, but it's good for running dogs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The squirrels are moving good.
Yeah. So I am here, and these ladies, these young ladies you hear talking are worlds apart. Worlds apart. Joni Moore, you are from where?
East Texas. We're in a little town called Beckville, Texas.
Yeah, that is not too far southwest of Shreveport, maybe?
Yeah, we're like 30 minutes from Shreveport.
Oh, even closer than I thought, yeah. So, but you're in Texas.
Yes.
And this is cold. This is, what is it, 45 degrees, 40 degrees today? You're probably freezing.
Yeah, this is cold for
Cold.
us.
And then the other young lady here is Anna Plant. From where are you from, Anna?
I'm from Lake Luzerne, New York, and this is warm for us.
And warm for you. And that is like just the opposite end of the world.
Absolutely
and
is.
You're kind of in the northern part of the state in New York.
We are. We're about 45 minutes north of the capital of Albany.
Yeah. So I know a lot of the squirrel hunting folks, especially Feist folks, know who you are. You're Vance Plant's wife.
Yes.
Better half.
Yes.
He would say.
I'd like to think so,
Yeah.
yes.
And you probably are.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So how you ladies have known each other as well. Obviously, it's through squirrel dogs, your husband, squirrel dogs, and all that stuff. That is kind of, how long have you known each other? Where did you meet?
Here at the World Hunt 2 years ago.
Right here in Hardin, Kentucky. Yeah. Isn't that something how the sport of dogs and how many people you get to meet just through dogs and doing these kind of things?
Yes, it's pretty awesome. I've met so many nice people, and I'm really glad that I met Joni.
Oh, yeah, it's nice to know that there's other ladies in it, too.
Yeah.
Yes.
But your worlds have to be so different in so many ways, and for sure with it's always warm where you're at. You said if it's not January, February, it's summertime where you live in Texas, and it's only summertime in New York in June and July, probably.
Yeah, in August.
Yeah.
So, and the rest of the fall hunting is really good, but we get a lot of snow in New York State.
Yeah. So what is the hunting like, or what type of terrain do you hunt in New York?
For
those that might not know.
Some of the terrain is like here. It's hilly. Some of it's a lot more hilly than
Mountainous.
here. Mountainous. But we don't have any flat lands. So
big trees, big oaks.
trees,
yeah.
pines. which makes it very difficult to
Yeah.
find squirrels in.
So a lot of pine
Yeah,
stuff.
and then we have these little tiny pine trees. Sally just loves those. I can always tell when she's treeing those. She's going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but we don't have fox squirrels. We just have gray squirrels and a black squirrel. And I don't know if anybody saw that post. I shot one of those out and broke all my own rules. But I was training a dog, so it was like, I didn't know what color it was, but
Yeah.
I was shooting it out because there was an actual squirrel there.
Yeah.
So, and I got lucky.
Yeah. So, Joni, what about you? What's the terrain like? What are you used to hunting in Texas?
We're pretty flat. We may have some hills, but nothing like here. We got a few swampy areas.
Yeah, so quite a bit different, actually, probably. I've coon hunted down there around Paris, Texas, if you know where Paris is.
Yeah, that's a couple hours from us.
Yeah, Paris, and then where was the other one? Not too far outside of Houston, Madisonville.
Madison. Yep,
I
that's
used to go
that's
down
probably
there.
3 hours from us.
Gosh, I used to go down there for the Texas State Championship the weekend after Labor Day, and get off the plane down there, and I would just be like, "Wow, this is just another type of heat."
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Hot.
it's humid.
Yeah,
It's
but I have
very
been in
humid.
Shreveport, so also not too far from you. We had our Coonhound World Championship there one time in Shreveport, so I kind of know what I've been around that area. So
Right.
yeah, but it's got to be two totally different worlds. But so tell me a little bit of both of you. How did you even get into this? How did squirrel dogs happen? Joni, you want to start?
Years ago, we had one when our son was little. He had a Feist, and I mean, he was just a family dog. We all loved him. He'd hunt whatever my son was hunting that day. That's what he was hunting.
Mm-hmm.
And then several years ago, our son got another one, and then that just kind of brought it all back with the other dog and made us want one. And back when we had that one, I didn't hunt a whole lot with him, but I enjoyed him. But so when we got these, I decided, okay, I'm going. So I just took off with it.
Yeah, and so you've always never had curs or just always feist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Anna?
We started with excuse me. My husband and I had grown up with hunting, and we had coon dogs, and my dad had coon dogs. But then when we got married, we had coon dogs, and then when our oldest son was about 12, we got a cur, and they're completely different. Squirrel hunting is different. It's similar, but it's different. They hunt different. So we got a couple curs, and they didn't work out. So we went back to coon dogs for a while, and then just before my husband was getting ready to retire, and I had what I thought was my last foot surgery, I said, hey, let's get squirrel dogs again. Let's give it another go. So we got online, and being a newbie, not knowing about the squirrel dogs, I found a puppy that I liked, and I was trying to find a dog hauler, and that was new too, because most time people would just ship the dogs in by airplane. So before I got a dog hauler set up, the guy had sold a puppy. So then we found a cur, and that was from Illinois, and that was Damon Wilbridge. And my husband's like, please don't sell this dog until I can we want it, we're going to take it. And he told him the whole story. So then we got the cur, and then we were like, well, then we got puppies. I mean, we had a lot of dogs all at once. So we got, Vance retired, and he got this dog. And he's like, I really wanted to go to that, I think it was the World Hunt in Indiana, excuse me. And I go. You've worked your whole life. It's been, go. Have a good time. Call me when you get there. So he went, and then he ran into Chad, and we were looking at moving maybe a place down this way, but like the northeast corner of Kentucky we thought was a good place. And as time went on, Chad was like, nah, you don't really want to be there, the LBL. And I looked it up, and I was like, oh my goodness, honey, 170,000 acres of playland for adults. So
Talking about land between the
land
lakes.
between the lakes, yeah. It was like, so we came down to visit and we came to some hunts, and there was just a draw here, and we came back down. We went home and we started making lists of addresses of houses that we wanted to look at, or camps, you know, something small to have here. And then, you know, as time went on, we'd gotten Sophie from Chad, and then we bought Sally, and then we sold Sophie back to Chad, and then we had gotten Robert as a puppy. So Vance was hunting Sally early on until we got Robert going, and it's kind of just, you know, transpired from there. And we just love the little dogs. You know, it's like you can do just as much with a little dog as you can the big dog, but they're easier to handle. And that was like one of my criteria. I was like, I don't want to be dragged through the woods by a big old hound.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how it all kind of transpired. And we started going to some of the hunts, and now I'm retired, and we've been going. We can go wherever we want, whenever we want. And my new job is to hunt my dogs. And what kind of good job is that, you know?
Yeah, so that's kind of for both of you. Obviously, you both enjoy it. But what is it? My next question for both of you, let's talk a little bit, is what is it that you enjoy about hunting these little dogs? And two things with that. What is it that you like about hunting them? And number two, what do you like about the competition? And let's say maybe three, which of the two would you prefer? I don't care who.
I like the feist that we're hunting. They're very loyal. They're very loyal, and they want to please you. It just seems like they're eager to please you all the time. I just enjoy being out in the woods. I enjoy hearing the dogs. I get super excited when I see a squirrel. But I may not. I'm not the greatest at shooting them. I'm trying to get better, but I'm not the greatest. But I do like the competition. You get out, you meet other people, you learn from other people. You learn from the other dogs that you see, and things that maybe you want to pull into your program.
How they measure up to other dogs. How your dogs measure up to others you see out there.
How your dogs and yourself, because it's not always just the dog.
Yeah. So what if you had a choice? Which would you prefer? Just a pleasure hunt, or do you like the competition, or you like one better than the other?
I don't know that I like one better than the other. I still get real nervous in the competition, but after I get out there, I'm calmed down and I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I do like pleasure hunting. I guess it just depends on which dog I'm taking, what I would want to do.
Yeah. Good enough. Anna, what about you? What is it that you like about the little feist?
I like being out in the woods and hearing the dogs go, and treeing the squirrels. I like the physical activity of it. I like going up and down those hills and following behind my dogs. I like listening to her run. And
great exercise too. There's a lot of things.
Yeah, you don't even think about it, but it's like you do when after you get home and you sit down, it's like, man, you know, that was a really good hunt. You know, I'm sore, you know, but you get up and you do it again the next day, you know, but really like the, you know, both parts of it. You know, I don't think I like one better than the other, you know, and as far as leisure hunting or competition, things have changed for me because I love to pleasure hunt, leisure hunt. And I like this past month, I've been training Sally. Sally's a broke dog. I don't have to train her how to do it. What I have to do is condition her to be able to make it through. So I tried different things, like a different workout program like you or I would do, you know, and I try to get her to go. So I was like a scared kid. Like the analogy I like to use is like when I first started doing these competitions, I should back up just a hair. When Vance and I were hunting together at home or wherever we were, and I would I think that's Sally. And it's like you start to get the bug, but you don't know you're getting the bug.
Yeah.
And it's like eventually it's like, I think I could call her. And then it's scary at first because it's like there's all these other dogs and people that have been doing it for a long time and the rules. So
You don't want to call somebody else's dog
I
or
know.
claim somebody else's
I
stuff.
know. So it's like I learned the dog without telling, I said, I think he kind of picked up on it. And then you kind of catch that bug and it's like, then you learn the rules. And then it's like, it's go time. And it's like, I was scared when I first started and nervous because I was like, if I call somebody's dog wrong or she gets minus or, you make a mistake on the rules, but then you learn as you go. The more you do it, the more experience you get, the more comfortable you get. I don't know if I ever get 100% comfortable, but I feel a lot more confident, and the more
not as intimidated, maybe.
Right. Well, I say I had some rules taught to me early on, like the leash lock and that kind of stuff. So you learn from that, and then and you go back and review. Like if I do a bench show, I review my rules. If I go to a hunt, I review my rules. I try to do that for 2 or 3 days before. So I enjoy both probably equally, being out there with my dog either way.
Mhm.
And I like to see where she measures up,
Yeah.
with the other dogs. And it's nice to see other dogs go.
Yeah. Would you guys both agree that when you see a dog doing what it is bred to do, that is something that is great to see or good to watch? Or for me, that is, I love seeing. For instance, I'll take a beagle as an example. Okay, I have a nice beagle here, and I see it in the kennel, or you see a lot of beagles that might be house dogs because they're little and they're pretty and they're so cute and this and that. But when you see them out hunting, see them wagging their tails and how happy they are, or in the case of a squirrel dog, when it's got a squirrel treat, it is so intent on that. You can tell, and that dog is in its heaven.
Yes, I agree with that.
Way more than sitting at home eating snacks you're tossing at it.
Right.
Oh yeah.
They need both, obviously, but that is still, they love doing what they were bred to do.
They
Yes.
get ours are house dogs. Ours stay in the house, so they lay on the couch. But when you pull that collar out or get that gun out, man, they're
They
excited.
know.
They know.
They know.
They just start crying. Take me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's even true when, like, if I go to the kennel to get Sally, the other dogs are like, well, what about me? Isn't it my turn?
Yeah. Yeah. So another question I have for you guys, in a mostly a sport that is mostly dominated by men, and there's several women. We're here at the National Runoff today, and there's one other woman that I saw that's competing here today. How can you explain? Is that hard as a woman to intimidating? What is it? How do you feel? Maybe at first when you start that, or is that intimidating for you, or has it become easy and it's not even a thing to you?
It was for me at first. When we first come up here, it was my big idea to come, but I didn't want to walk through the door.
Yeah.
I sent Jeff through the door first. But since then, and everybody has been so good and so nice, and I haven't had any issues with anybody out there. I get nervous going, but not for the people. I just get nervous for what my dog's going to do.
Yeah.
I feel comfortable out there with everybody that I've been out there with.
That's good. And I think in most of our sports that is the case, or it absolutely should be the case. Do you feel the same, Anna?
I do. And we travel quite a bit. We go to a lot of different states and a lot of different clubs, and I'm not intimidated at all. I think the guys kind of like seeing the ladies in the sport.
Yeah.
And
I think you're exactly right about that. Right? And this, you mentioned that you don't have to, these little squirrel dogs can't drag you all around the woods and things like that. There are some dogs, like in our coon sport, some of those dogs will drag me around, and I can see where that's, for some women that's just harder than this would be.
Mm-hmm.
But it's great. It's great for us to see where you bring the whole families and,
Yeah, I like to see the families.
Yeah, and it's just a good, healthy, you're out here enjoying something else, and not, I don't know, people that have never experienced this, it's not for everybody, but there's also a lot of people that have, are missing a great deal, not being able to enjoy the outdoors and some of these things with dogs and things like that. That, the other thing I always say, I'm probably yakking too much here, but I always like sports, and I feel like a competition with dogs are also a sport. It's no different than most any other competitions, but the one element that is different, and for me even more exciting, is that you're competing with an animal.
Yeah.
You and I can be on a team, and we can work on things together, and we do the same thing maybe with a dog, but there's a difference of me working with an animal versus you and I trying to work together and becoming better as a team. You become better as a team with a dog too, the more you hunt them and this and that. And obviously it depends a lot on the dog, but there's a certain element that you're competing as a team, not with another person, but with an animal.
Yeah, you're right, and I do see that. Like, I started it a couple years ago. It didn't really go anywhere or stick, but I would put on my hashtag Team Sally.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the World Hunt, because it is. And
Sally
it's like,
being one of your little dogs.
Yeah, my little female. And so I see it as a team sport. I hadn't, I don't know if I'd ever said that out loud, but I see it as a team sport, and it's like I take her out and I take her to different places and different times, and I think that is really good. And then the other element of this sport is you are working with an animal, and they are doing what they're going to do, but they do what they want to do sometimes. And it's like you might tree them and they're going to leave because you may not see it. It might be timbering, or they have a mind of their own.
They do.
There's
and
only
it's not
so
a
much
mechanical thing either. They're animals too. They don't always feel good, just like humans, and they're not always on top of their game.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Interesting. I love talking about dogs. And
They all have their own personality.
They do.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, hey, one other thing, and I'll give you both some final thoughts. But before this, it's been a big day. National Runoff. You mentioned Sally several times. I'd be remiss to mention Sally was in the qualified for the National Runoff. You handled Sally.
I did.
You won your cast in the first round. You are in the finals, Anna.
Thank you. I know it has. I don't know if it's actually hit home yet or not, but
are you nervous at all?
Yeah, I know what I'm up against. I know my competition, and but I know my dog, and her and I, like the team sport. I've spent the last month with her training for this, and I don't hunt with my husband, and I've done some stuff that I thought might enhance her conditioning, to get her to last, because she did have Lyme a couple of years ago and she's had a couple flare-ups, but I've changed some things in her program as far as her food and her supplements, and she is so healthy right now. It's almost like when I look at her, she looks like a young dog again, So yeah, I'm nervous, but I'm confident.
Yeah.
And I will go out there, and no matter what hunt I'm on, I'm going to call my dog as I hear it. I'm not I'm not one of those handlers that, that knows how to angle things or, to be. Yeah. So I just play it as it rolls. If I can get the edge on you maybe and tree before you, I'm like feeling pretty good about that, you know?
If it's there to take, you're going to take it.
Right.
Hey, and speaking of confidence here, we talked about that a little bit, and I will mention Joni, just like you this morning, you were one of our non-hunting judges. If we didn't feel confident in you, and if you didn't have the confidence, you wouldn't have been doing that this morning, so this speaks a whole lot for both of your levels of confidence here in this sport. And we're tickled to see that. And lastly, hey, thank you for taking the time. I've enjoyed having this little chat with you guys, and I really love what you guys bring to our sport.
Thank you for asking us. I was really kind of surprised, but thank you for.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, we're glad you come in and you do this, and we're so glad that UKC puts these hunts on and gives us the opportunity to do these things.
Yeah, well, and we also need people that want to support them, and so that's you guys, and we really appreciate it. And just all the friendships and everything that are created and built is amazing. Yeah, there's so many good things that come about. But thank you guys for it, and enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for all that you do. You do an outstanding job when you come to these events. You can tell that you really care about the event and how it's run and how everything's set up. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Alan, I know we both have new Dogtra Pathfinder 2s. How are you liking yours so far?
I'm liking it. I've even had the opportunity now to use mine where I didn't have service, where I download the map of that area, and it works flawlessly. Love it.
I agree. I really like my Dogtra Pathfinder 2 as well. I've used it quite a bit the past few months. I really like the crystal clear maps. I like that it doesn't lose service very much, and I don't have many bad things to say about it at all. Dogtra Pathfinder 2, the official GPS collar partner of UKC.
All right, so there you heard from both of those ladies. Interesting stuff, and they're really into it, and they really enjoy it, and they have a lot of fun with it. And I think they have some advice for other young girls and women that would like to get into the sport. And just a couple of good women right there to look up to and ask questions if anybody has any questions. But I sure enjoyed listening to their perspective, that's for sure. So we mentioned, and as you heard, I asked Anna about her being in the finals with Sally, and she was not a bit intimidated, really. She was looking forward to it, and she made the finals, and what a final cast that was. They all hunt for 90 minutes. That's the case with every cast on this weekend, hunted for 90 minutes. And so we had Robert, Sally, and Bo in this final cast, and Aiden Mitchell, who I mentioned hunted Roxanne, he was also out here, 14-year-old kid, and we did a play-by-play, and he texted me the play-by-play back to the headquarters, and I posted it on the UTFA's Facebook page, as well as the Mountain Feist Association's page, and then also the United Mountain Feist Association. So go there and check that out. It was action-packed from start to finish. And I had asked Aiden to get me a couple of clips of the dog, some video clips if he had time. And you know what? He just had all he could do to keep up. So I did not get any video clips. But in the end, it was anybody's hunt to win all the way down to the last 10 minutes of the hunt. But in the end, it was Bo who treed 4 squirrels that they saw, had a total of 400 plus. And he is, for the second year in a row, he is our dog of the year in the Feist division, and congratulations to Mr. Chad Wagner. So right after they came back from that hunt, I had a chance to sit down with Chad and talk about his win. So here's Chad and I.
Did it again, Chad. 2 years in a row.
Yeah, 2 years in a row, and
Same dog.
same dog. That helped me from the 2 years prior that I didn't win.
You had that dog in the final how many times?
4 times.
4 times. Okay, I remember the one other time. He just wasn't quite wasn't his day that time, but the last two years, 2 in a row.
Yeah, I was probably more nervous about this one, and I've been in the hunt for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
No kidding?
I still get nervous.
I always think that's a good thing, actually. It's not a bad thing. But I'm looking at the scorecard here. 1, 2, how many? 7, 8 trees made in this final cast or whatever. It was a shootout, wasn't it?
Yeah, we was busy the whole hour and a half, and that hour and a half flew by. I mean, it was like, how much time we got left? And it just seemed like it went in 30-minute increments.
Yeah, I had Aiden Mitchell out there, and we were doing a play-by-play, so he's sending everything back to me. I told him, I said, hey, get some video clips of these dogs treeing when you can eat it. He said he didn't have time to. But it was just constantly, I was getting information back or feed, play-by-play, something back. But no, hey, so I'm here with Chad Wagner, and you just won the Dog of the Year runoff with Cedarwood Bow, Hall of Fame Cedarwood Bow. What does it feel like 2 years in a row? You got to be proud of that little dog.
I'm proud of a bunch of different dogs, if you don't mind.
No, absolutely.
There was 3 half mates in the Dog of the Year runoff. All of them were Hall of Fame dogs. Sophie, Sally, and Bo. This Hall of Fame, there was all 4 of the Feist Hall of Fame dogs were in this Dog of the Year runoff this year. So it is just, I'm proud of all those dogs and all those guys that's put the time and work into them. But yeah, I'm real proud of my little house dog.
Yeah, he's you finished the year with how many cast wins was it last year with it?
14.
14.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this quite a bit. The first year I think we did the runoff, or this platform, dog of the year platform, the way we have it set up. I want to say we had like 20 some dogs with cast wins. The second year jumped up like to 50. Last year we had 60. This year we had 73 dogs with 73 different dogs with cast wins. I'm talking Feist. And the program is working, but not only that, but it's not easy to get in that top 7 anymore. It's not 3 or 4 cast wins and you're in. You were sixth with 14. Did you say 14?
14, yeah.
14 cast wins.
Took 12 to get in.
Took 12 to get in.
Yeah. And we was talking about that coming out of the woods. We was Alex Huey went with us out on the cast, and we was all kind of talking. I credit a lot of it to UKC. Look at all the programs we have. Hall of Fame program, the Dog of the Year program, the way the World Hunt's set up, all the support we get from UKC. It's growing because of the atmosphere, but it's also growing because of everything that you all do at UKC.
Well, hey, and we can put these programs out there if they're supported, and they really have. And you know what? As far as our squirrel dog program, the Feist program has really, I feel like, really taken off and is on a good trajectory, and especially in the last couple of years. And that's because of several different things, But don't sell yourself short. Your associations and a couple different associations, supporting it and everything. But there's a lot there. But going back to what is Bo? He's off your own stock, bred your own stock for a lot of years.
He's out of 2018 UKC World Champion Cedarwood Cloud Jr. And I guess a lot of people's heard the story. I was supposed to got a stud pup. Well, the pup that I was supposed to got died. So I ended up getting Bo because he had bred 2 females to Junior at the time. So I ended up getting Bo and brought him in the house, and he sleeps between me and my wife every night.
Yeah.
So, I guess I've had my first dog, Cedarwood Cloud, was my first squirrel dog. So I've been hunting them about almost 20 years now.
Yeah.
And I've got a pup out of Bo at the house, and on the mother's side, that's 5 generations of my dogs. So I'm pretty proud of that too.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll see him in the Derby hunt next
year. Yeah. Well, it's been a great day here at the Twin Lakes Coon Club, and we did the runoff today, and then we also had this Derby day with the young hounds, and I think that's going to take off. We had a bunch of Feist here all in both hunts this morning and this afternoon. So we might look at maybe making a few changes, and it just seems there's so much interest in both. We're already talking about maybe separating the 2 days, and I think it's going to be a good thing.
Yeah, if it would have been a 2-day like we're talking about doing, I could have hunted a Derby and Dog of the Year.
We'd have probably had at least 4, 5, 6 more dogs.
I think so.
Yeah, just in this first year.
And I honestly, 2 days prior, I was thinking 4 to 6 dogs.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, I actually had counted 12, and we had 11 for the first year.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Now, UTFA started out the first Cur and Feist days with 10 dogs. 5 years later, we had 24. So I know this program is going to grow too.
Yeah. Yeah, going back, not to confuse people, going back to the runoff, the top 7 are the ones that make the runoff. The top dog gets the bye in round number 1. The bottom 6 go out in 2 casts. And we had 5 of those 6 here. Joseph Garner from North Carolina, his Sandy female came in heat, but 6 of the 7 made it here, and for the national runoff. So yeah. And hey, here's another example again. That top dog gets a bye, and that's a big thing. And that was a shootout in the end. It was all the way down to the last 15 minutes. Any dog could have still won that.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
So is that why you're still so nervous?
I was like, this sucker's going to end up beating me.
Can't shake anything. Hey, but that's good to see. It makes for some great competition, and not just that, but also some good stiff competition.
Well, and we promote that, and Vance says it a lot, and I say it a lot. Go out hit the woods and compete as hard as you possibly can. But you should be able to come back and share a cup of coffee at the end.
Yeah.
So we competed as hard as we could.
Hey, I saw Vance in here. He was talking about it. He's like, man, he hit the road hard last night to get that top spot, or last year to get that top spot. He got it done, and he didn't come here to lose either. He said he did everything he could, but he said really in the end, you can't complain. He said we had a bang-up hunt. Talking about the final cast here.
I was talking to Davin a couple of days ago. We was hunting. He's like, "What's it going to take to win the world or the Dog of the Year hunt?" And he said, "I'm guessing 400." He said, "You want high or low?" And I said, "I'm going to take low because the squirrels have been dented up real bad."
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him just a minute ago, and I was like, "What did I owe you for that?" Because you guessed it, it was 400 plus, and I really didn't think it was going to. I thought it'd be a lot lower than that. This morning it was low scores, 200 on one cast, and Bo only had 100 this morning on his cast.
Yeah. And then 400 here this afternoon. The sun came out, and it kind of warmed up. Sun came out this afternoon, but yeah. Hey, Chad, I don't want to take your time. We've got more casts rolling in here. We got to go get taken care of, but congratulations again. Second year in a row, Cedarwood Bo, outstanding Dog of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
All right, so there you go. 2 years in a row for him, and congratulations. That I've been out with that dog several times. That is a nice little dog. Has done his fair share of winning, and just a nice little dog. And 2 years in a row, he's the Dog of the Year. So that's a pretty amazing feat right there. So, and amongst a good, solid group, competitive group of Feists that were in this for sure. So, but I again want to congratulate everybody that was in the national runoff, qualified for it and everything, and congratulations to the winners. So, one thing I wanted to mention here that I didn't in the onset is in years past, we always had our national runoff held on the day before the World Championship. So Curs and Feist run separately, so we had a different date for the World Hunt for the Curs. So their runoff was on the day before, and then a different date for the World Championship for the Feist. Their runoff was also held on the day before. A lot of the dogs that were up in the running were also some of the better dogs. So really, if you think about it, kind of had an unfair advantage or disadvantage, so to speak, I guess. When they had to compete the day before for at least maybe 2 rounds, and then turn right around and enter the World Championship. So what we did, made some changes to where this year we had made the national runoff a standalone event, which is what this event that we're talking about was now for the first time. But we put the Curs and Feist together at the national runoff, and we're going to also do the same thing with the World Championship that's going to happen on the last weekend in March in Tell City, Indiana. They're going to hunt separately, but now the World Championship is run with both the Curs and the Feist on the same day. And what that does is it eliminates that event on the day before and kind of eliminates any concerns with that disadvantage for some of those dogs. But in doing so, we would only have not very many dogs for the national runoff to have it standalone event. So we were thinking, what can we do? We came up with this idea to have Derby Day to run it in conjunction with. There's a lot of hype about it, and it turned out excellent. Now, on the Cur side, we didn't have not many show up for the Cur side of it, but hopefully it's like anything. Hopefully it'll grow. And we did have one Cur who made it over from West Virginia who competed in the event, and he got a cast win both days. He had to go out with a non-hunting judge, did a fine job on both days, won his cast with several squirrels treed. And that was a dog named Arrowwood that is owned by Adam Ferguson, co-owned the dog and handled the dog. So that was also our king, or our Derby king for Curs. And like I mentioned, Jamie Estep was there. So Jamie had a chance to sit down and talk to him on Saturday night after the event. So take a listen here to Jamie and Adam here. They're talking about Arrowwood and their hunt here.
All right, guys, welcome to everybody. We are in Hardin, Kentucky at the first annual Cur Pup Derby, and we are getting ready to talk with Adam Ferguson, our first annual winner the Cur Pup Derby. Put on a great show today, and we're excited to talk and hear about his day. Adam, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Doing good. I'm sure it's a lot better feeling at the end of the day than when we started. A big winner. I think I looked at your cards earlier today. You had 300, am I right, on the first round?
Yep,
and
that's
then
right.
200 plus on the second round, on the late round?
Yep.
So your dog put a pretty good consistent show on today. Tell us a little bit about both rounds. Start with the morning round and tell us a little bit about your day.
Well, this morning round, it was, he looked a little better this morning, actually. He was operating pretty good. Long trip down here, young dog. So he done well. We started out kind of slow. I think we had a couple circle trees, and then we got down next to the water, and then he just cranked out 3 pretty quick. Had them all 3 on the outside, and then I think he had another circle tree, kind of headed back towards the truck. But yeah, he looked good this morning.
Looked good. So you think he looked a little better in the morning than he did in the evening.
Sure.
So jump us up to the evening. 3 o'clock deadline. What time was you in the woods by? 3:30, 3:45
Yep,
probably.
Yep.
Okay, because it's dark now, guys. It's dark. So tell us about the evening.
Yeah, it was close to 4 o'clock, and he started out pretty good. Well, he had right off the cut there. He went down and treed and went down there, and he had the squirrel. So I was feeling good at that point. And then he got down next to the water, and we could. I knew I could watch him on the. Well, I got a dog turn on Garmin, but and he just wasn't. I could just tell something wasn't wrong, and could hear some talking. But the way that water is, I just figured somebody in a boat or whatever, and come find out there was a camp down there, and so he got down there and kind of messed that up. So we had to call
So he
time
took
out.
a little picnic break or something along the way.
Well, they had a truck and a camper on top
Yeah.
of it, and they had dogs, so
Yeah.
that made the whole
Yeah.
situation just go. But anyhow,
But he got it going.
he got it going. Yep. Like I
And
said,
scored
he got-
another squirrel.
Yep.
at the
Squirrel. Yep.
Yeah.
Walked him out of there and got him started up, and then he started actually operating
Well, that's
better
awesome.
once we got out of that situation.
So, for our listeners to understand, he was a double cast winner, so that put him winning first place today in the inaugural Cur Pup Derby, and so we're pretty excited about that. Adam is from West Virginia, so I'm a little bit familiar with Adam and the terrain he hunts in, and a little more mountainous back home than what it is here.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about what is Sox is his call name. I think Arrowhead is what's on his papers. But
That's right.
tell us a little bit about his background. What's he out of? Where he comes from? Things of that nature. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I got him from Chuck and Adam Loudon, and it's off of their female T-Bird and Duck Creek Grazer, and just got to be good friends with Adam and Chuck, and they're first class people, and well, the pup was doing real good, and so we kind of decided to go in partnership, and my daughter had named him Sox, and so we come up with the name Mountain State Arrowhead, so that's his real name, I guess. But yeah, I still call him Sox.
You still call him Sox.
Yeah,
so.
that's his call name. But,
Well, that's all right. Now, I'm sure to all of our listeners, if you're familiar with the mountain curs at all, Chuck and Adam Loudon are notoriety there, popular names. And if I'm not mistaken, his daddy is owned by Alan Franklin, another guy that's been involved with the mountain curs for years, and so this dog has got a lineage of winners leading up to him, and he seems to be following right in those those footsteps.
This dog for sure, I can't tell. I gotta give all the credit to the breeders for sure. I mean, he's been a natural, as far as I'm concerned. Just all I do is lace my boots up and hit the woods.
Well, I think that if I were to speak on their behalf, I think they would give you a lot of credit for putting the work into to doing that. So that's something that I know you've put the time into this dog and the effort, and so that is something that the folks need to understand and to see. Can you tell us a little bit about what you think's the future for this? Because he's 13 months old,
13
14
months,
months
yeah, he
old,
just turned
something like
13 months, 23rd of February.
So tell me what you think's going to happen next.
Well,
I know what I'm trying to get you to do, but
Yeah.
what do you think's going to happen next?
I'm just hoping he keeps continuing to grow and get experience, and I want to hit these hunts and just let him do his thing, see where it goes. But
This is kind of cool for you because this is your first pretty major event, right?
Yeah, this is actually my third ever hunt.
Okay.
So yeah.
It's a pretty good way to start. I don't think I'd want anything like this in my third third hunt. So
Yeah.
it's a pretty good way to start.
Yeah,
So
and I was pretty tickled. That was the other thing, the travel down here
Yeah.
with a young dog like that. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
But I was pretty happy with that.
okay. Have you talked to Chuck and Adam since
just texting and
texting?
they wanting updates, so they got updates.
So they're probably ready for a phone call. To
Trophy
hear
picture.
the trophy picture to
Yeah.
see everything.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty exciting news. Well, Adam, I am so proud to know that you've won this coming from West Virginia myself, and you being from West Virginia, that even makes me more excited. And if you could say anything to the folks out there listening about this hunt and about the Cur program with UKC, what could you say about your experience here at this hunt?
Oh, it's been a great experience. I think like to see the Cur guys, start jumping on board. I can definitely see that UKC is trying to build the Cur program and really wanting to get that going a little bit more, and I'd like to see that happen. I think it's a good organization as far as what I can tell.
Well, man, we appreciate you making the drive down here. I know it's a good hop for you, and you're going back home tonight, so I know you'll be tired. You're probably going to be home by in the morning, but I'm excited for you, and again, on behalf of UKC and myself and the state of West Virginia, we just want to say congratulations to you. Look forward to working with you. And as he said, just the Cur guys get involved. Just a few weeks away will be our World Squirrel Hunt in Tell City, Indiana. I hope you're getting those dogs ready. I just put a post on Facebook and said I'd like to see about 50 Cur dogs there, and so we hope that we can see that happen and look forward to seeing you guys in Tell City. And so have a great time. And Adam, again, congratulations.
All right. Thank you, Jamie.
All right, so there you go. You heard from them, and congratulations to Adam. He was pretty excited, and as were the Feist guys after Saturday night's hunt, the clubhouse, everybody came back. I don't think anybody actually left, even those that didn't win, but in the Derby. But the Feist guys sure showed up for this Derby thing. We had 11 Feist hunt in the morning, and then also the same 11 went back out in the afternoon for the double hitter, and then we had a king and a queen for the Derby winners after those two hunts. But let me go through and just really quickly the cast winners in the morning. We had Souped Up Super Sage, a female owned by Marty Kelly of Ohio that was handled by Chris Posey, was a cast winner in the morning. Had the high score actually of 300 plus, I think it was 200 plus. 200 plus. We had Cole's Flat Top Dixie. That's a dog owned by Daniel Cole of Kentucky. She scored 150 plus, cast winner in the morning on Saturday in the Derby. The high score was Bennett's Mini. That's a female owned by Kevin Bennett of Kentucky. She was the high scorer in the morning, 300 plus for her. Matter of fact, Kevin had just, he hadn't planned on even entering the dog. And 5 minutes before deadline, he decided he's going to enter Mini. And I'm pretty sure he's glad he did. High score in the first go around. And then cast number 4's cast winner with 100 plus was Robert Bay of English, Indiana, with his dog Mickey Sue. So those were our first first cast winners in the morning in the Derby. Now, what is a Derby? A Derby, we required their age to be, they were for dogs that were born on or after April 1st of 2022. So what that does essentially is only those dogs that were under 2 years of age could compete in this. So that was the criteria for it. And then in the afternoon, or in the evening hunt, again, we had all the same dogs. We redrew them all again. And here, Minnie, again, with Kevin Bennett, was another cast winner. She was the only double cast winner. She scored 300 plus in the afternoon hunt or in the evening hunt. And Terry Wilt of Ohio had Wilt's Wild Honey in the hunt. She won her cast in the afternoon, 233 1/3 points. A male dog out of Michigan, Vassar, Michigan, actually, Louise Rockin' Radar, a nice little black dog, 9 months of age. He was a cast winner, scored 100 plus, had made 3 trees, 2 circle, and saw one of the coons, so he came out victorious. That dog's owned by Dylan Legui. I think I said that correctly. And then also with a cast win, another female, Cedarwood Lemon. Davin Ramage and Chad Wagner owned this lemon female here. She was a cast winner as well. But our Derby Queen, overall Derby Queen winner was Minnie, Kevin Bennett with Minnie. And she scored, she was the only double cast winner. And then our King of Hunt in the Derby was the dog out of Vassar, Michigan, Linguini's Rockin' Radar. So congratulations to all those winners there. And I, again, want to thank everybody for supporting that program. It was a great weekend down in Hardin, Kentucky. Just a fun weekend, and I think folks were excited and a good starting point for sure, and look for a lot more. Hope it'll grow here in the next year, and we're looking forward to next year as well. But so, yeah, Dylan Legui was very excited about his Derby win here with Radar, and I had the chance to sit down with him and talk about Radar a little bit in his win. Here's Dylan.
Radar.
Yep.
Derby King of the Hunt today.
He did well.
He did all right, didn't he?
Good enough to take home the win anyhow.
Yeah, so I'm here with Dylan Legui. Did I say that right?
Yes, sir.
Michigan. Where at in Michigan are you?
I am in Vassar.
Vassar, okay.
So, you're from Michigan as well.
I am, yep. I know where Vassar is.
Right up by Saginaw Bay, about a half hour away.
Yeah, so you had a longer trip than I did.
Yeah,
there.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A couple hours, 3 hours.
When did you find out that we were having this Derby? What made you decide to come with Radar?
I'm sorry. I seen it posted. I believe you posted it originally. And I wasn't certain. I had him, and I got actually another younger dog. It'd be a half-brother to him out of Slyman's Merle as well. And I wasn't sure which one I was going to take at the time particularly. But I knew one of them were probably going to make it.
Cool. I've seen Merle, and a nice looking little dog. And this sucker looks good too.
Yeah, he's a nice little dog. He just turned 9 months old, and for as young as he is, he'll put it to him.
Yeah, and he's going to be good for next year. He's still going to be eligible for next year.
Yep, he's eligible next year for the puppy hunt as well. I'm sure we'll make it here.
Heck yeah. What female is he out of?
He's out of Dennis Cochran's Rosie dog.
Okay.
I don't know if she's made it up this far, but I know that she runs UKC. She's done a little bit of winning herself. She's a pretty nice female. Down out of Mississippi, he is.
Yeah. So I think this is the first that I've seen you at any one of our events that I have seen you. Have you been to some other UKC events before or not really?
I have I went to Cur and Feist Days last year it would have been.
Yeah.
But as far as UKC goes, it's actually just not in my area.
Oh yeah.
At the moment.
Yeah, but
believe it or not,
have you been competing in other formats though, or not really?
I used to do a little bit of NKC, but not much anymore.
Yeah.
Usually, I come down here.
Well, you boys
I plan on maybe making it to the World.
You boys
Hunt
need to get something going in Michigan.
I plan on it. I do plan on it.
I saw you had another buddy with you that came down with you today.
Yep. Yeah. And he lives about 5 minutes away from me, and we got a fair amount of squirrels and a fair amount of state game. Land right around my area there, actually quite a bit.
Yeah, so Casey's a long ways from Michigan. He's in Alabama, Tennessee. Yeah. So
Radar actually came from Mississippi though.
Okay.
But thankfully Facebook nowadays we have, and you can see a fair bit from a long distance away. And I got another female out of Michigan. She's a nice dog, but I was looking for something a little bit more, a little bit different style for me, and I come across Slyman's Merle dog, and I don't know. I started looking. I bought Bear first, which would be Radar's half brother, and I ended up, and I had been lined up for the puppies yet. So between the two of them, I figured one of them would make a pretty nice dog.
Yeah.
I mean, Slyman's Merle, he's a real deal, and like I said, Cochran's Rosie there too. She's a real nice dog herself. So I seen that he had one pup available and it was a male, and I jumped on it as soon as I could.
Yeah. What are you got any plans with him? We got the World Hunt coming up here in a couple of weeks.
I'm planning on making it.
Yeah.
Hopefully. We'll see.
Yeah.
it's definitely in the plan right now.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes, you know.
Hey, first ever. I don't want to hold you up. I know you want to get back on the road, as do I. Got to get things wrapped up here, but first ever UKC Derby Feist day here, and Radar is forever going to be that first winner there. So
I'm real proud. I'm not gonna lie. I'm very proud. And you know what? You guys put on a real nice event here. UKC. I really like you guys' rule format. I really like the way you guys are running things over here.
Well, congratulations again, and thanks for coming. And hey, hope to see this Radar dog some more, and I bet we will.
I'm sure. I'm hoping he does us some more winning.
There you go. They had a long ride to come down from Michigan to the hunt, and we certainly appreciate them coming down and competing in it. But next, and the final interview we do here is going to be with Kevin Bennett of Kentucky. I had a chance to sit down with him and talk about his Derby winner, Bennett's Mini. Well, sir, I am here with our Derby queen of the hunt today, Kevin Bennett from right here local. You had hunted a little dog this morning. You registered a little dog this morning named Minnie, and you said you wasn't going to hunt her. But about 5 minutes before the deadline, you filled out an entry and came up. How did that happen?
Well,
something changed your mind.
Yeah, I was a guiding, so I just thought I'd
might as well hunt.
Take her a hunt along with me.
Yeah, been hunting her a little while or what?
Yeah, I've hunted her a bunch. She's treated her first squirrels a day or two before 4 months old.
Okay, and how old is she now?
She'll be 2 years old in July.
So she, yeah. So what is Minnie? Tell us a little bit about her lineage here. Off of some of Chad's stuff,
off
right?
Of Chad Wagner's junior dog.
World champion.
My uncle had the female.
Okay, yeah.
From her.
So earlier today we were talking a little bit. I've learned you and old Leroy Gamble, right here local, Curr guy, old coon hunter from way back.
Yeah.
You guys have hunted together for a long while.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So you coon hunted too.
Yeah. I mainly cur hunted up till I got this feist right here. It's the first feist I've had.
What so having had both, what's the big differences you see as much, or do you have any preference really, or is it just?
Well, I think these feists think a lot more of you than the curs do. If you want to bring them in the house, you can bring them in the house. They like to ride up front with you in the truck, and I just think they think more of you.
Yeah.
You know.
Hey, I have one too, and I've had coonhounds too most all my life too, and I've had a couple of feists too, and especially the last one I have very much like that.
Yeah.
Goes with me everywhere.
Right, right.
But,
I've got another one about 6 months old, half sister to this dog. I got it from Chad.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it the same way, and it thinks the world of it.
Yeah, yeah. What is it that you like best about the Mini? What do you feel is some of her strongest attributes or her strengths?
They got an ear that won't stop. I mean, she can hear a squirrel, but she uses her nose quite a bit too.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
She uses her ear before she makes her move, and she stops and looks. She don't just keep going, go crazy like a lot of dogs do. You know.
Yeah. Well, we had 2 rounds today. We had a doubleheader this morning. We had a single hunt, and then this evening we had another hunt. And she was the high-scoring dog in both rounds, and the only double cast winner, and that's what sewed it up for Queen of the Hunt.
Well, I'm tickled to death.
Well, hey, congratulations. We appreciate you coming here.
I
hope to see you again.
Me. Appreciate you having me.
So there you go, folks. That's going to wrap it up for this year's. It was just this year's National Runoff and the Derby Day. It was just a fun event and a good starting point for sure. So we've talked about maybe a few things that we may want to change. One of the things, the Derby thing was such a hit. Some of the guys in the National Runoff would have liked to have been able to compete in it. So there's some talk about maybe we do the National Runoff on a Friday and open Saturday up just to be Derby Day all the way around. So we're going to think about that a little bit, and we'll have more information out on that. So congratulations again to all the qualifiers. Our national, our Dog of the Year winners, our Derby winners. It was a great weekend. I want to thank the club, everybody involved, and just a great, fun event, and really look forward to the next one. So hope you enjoyed this episode, and until next time, take care, and hopefully you guys can get your squirrel dogs out and tree some as well.
Thank you for listening to the UKC Hunting Ops Podcast. Be sure to give us a follow so you don't miss any of our new episodes or content.